This XFL Picks Week 8 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Shady Rays. Go to shadyrays.com and use code SGPN for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized shades. We're also brought to you by the Golf Gambling Podcast Tailor-Made Driver Giveaway. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/driver to enter today for the big drawing on April 8th. And we're brought to you by Baseball Money is Fake, our fantasy baseball podcast. Join Blake and Ryan 3 times a week and get all the player breakdowns and statistical data you need to dominate.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
We took a trip and we're in the hot tub time machine. We're in the club. It's 20 years ago. we're in college. I mean, the things we would do to a place like this.
Oh man, I mean
That is a disgusting act.
Good thing we brought the sword vitality.
Oh, unsheath your sword again. Sword vitality. If you're hanging out at Stadium Swim all day, putting down some couple cocktails, you may need a little sword vitality for the pick me up. Nothing to be ashamed there. We are coming to you live from the Mecca itself, Stadium Swim. We're going to be here tomorrow and Friday as well, broadcasting live, talking a little Masters, talking a little NFL. We're going to do our way too early NFL win totals podcast tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Rocking our Shady Rays and here talking XFL Week 8 picks. Joining us back in the studio in Los Angeles, Colby Dant, aka the Dantabase. What's up, Colby?
Another week of extreme football. I'm sure you guys are going to demand it on that beautiful screen behind you guys.
Oh, I mean, we're in Viper country right now, Colby. I'm walking around town. Everyone is talking about the Fang Gang, the Vegas Vipers, red hot. No, there's been no mention of XFL football, but it is Circa, so they do have the lines for the XFL. Obviously, if you're betting on football, I mean, what better place than to do it right out here? Vegas Vipers though sitting at a 2-5, 3 games out from the Dragons. Although, you know, a lot of crazy action last week, including the Orlando Guardians shocking the world, beating DC outright. We discussed giving out the Orlando Guardians at 150-1 as a future bet, just because hey, why not? They're it's 150-1. It's crazy. Colby and I both did have Orlando plus 9.5. I was a bit shocked, Colby, that the Guardians won outright. I know you've been a big defender guy, but you were on the Guardians as well. What do you make of that huge upset?
Yeah, I mean, look, we were all over the future market there, 150-1. This offense has been flying around. Shane Matthews, the former Steve Spurrier quarterback, he's been able to get this thing going. And yeah, I mean, Quentin Dormandy looks like the best quarterback in the league right now. There's life throughout. Like, they might only have 9-10 guys on the football field at times, but damn, they can move the ball. So I think if you're a Guardian fan, you can make the playoffs here.
Yeah, Guardians are nipping. According to my metrics, the Vegas Vipers are the only team that's been eliminated from playoff contention. Is that correct?
Yes.
The Guardians are 2 games back from the Renegades. Could have used a Renegade loss there. That didn't happen for the Renegades.
You would know that, Sean, if you looked at our futures sheet here.
Oh yes.
Pretty funny. We were coming up to the show, and we're doing an XFL show, of course. And Josh, who's with us behind the scenes here on the other side of the camera, he's like, "Any chance you grabbed an XFL sheet?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, this guy doesn't know me. I grab one of everything."
Ryan going up to the sheets is like peak old man mode. He's just like walking over, doing that thing where you're like licking your thumb, peeling through all the sheets.
It's like going to the Chick-fil-A and grabbing a little of every sauce. Because why not?
And
why
again,
not?
the Circa Sports betting app is great. But when you're in Vegas, you got to get the paper tickets. Love me some paper tickets. Shout out to Josh. Took a video of me placing all my Masters bets in my sweet Masters jacket. I will be rocking it all day tomorrow. We're going to be doing poolside. So I think the move for me is swim trunks, no shirt, Masters jacket on top, Shady Rays, of course, as well.
I think something similar is in my future. I forgot. I don't know if you brought the Burbank Beavers jersey, but I did.
It's in there.
I have another throwback jersey as well from our past. But what I was going to say is the Guardians not on the futures list, Sean. So
no,
you would have
they
known
have been eliminated. Walk
eliminated.
through the. Why don't we do a little futures talk before we get to the XFL
we'll do a
Week 8 picks?
Quick buy or sell on the futures. And by the way, shout out to the Circa. They offer a no on everything.
That's just peak DGen betting no on XFL futures.
So,
that's next level stuff.
Colby, first up, Vegas 80-1 to win the championship.
They're eliminated.
The Vegas Vipers are as well.
No,
they're the only team eliminated.
Wait, no, I thought the Guardians were eliminated.
No, Guardians are going to make the playoffs if they win this
Interesting.
week.
So the Guardians are not on the list. The Vipers are on. This must be a typo. I'm just going to assume it's the Guardians.
May not have updated the sheet.
No. Guardians. Circa needs to update their sheet. Guardians 80.
What is it? What is the no on the Vipers? It's minus 14,000.
Well, I think.
Can we get 14,000 to win $100?
Ignore what I just said. Guardians 80-1. Yes. 100 minus 14,000. No. No interest. Although you guys are going to back the Guardians again.
At what price now?
80-1.
Yeah, I'm still in on them.
Colby.
Yeah, they're the best offense in the league right now.
As a future at 80-1.
Burn it. All right, next up we got the Brahmas at plus 1110. Yes, minus 1810. No, absolutely not. Throw that out.
Yeah, I mean, Brahmas are 2-5. They do have a chance to get in the playoffs, but at 11-1, like to me, that's not interesting.
I assume Colby agrees.
No, I mean the Brahmas. You can't take the Brahmas. I mean, last week's game? Their right tackle might be the worst right tackle I've ever seen in professional football.
Arlington Renegades again. We seem that we're still in the same division. Renegades 9-1. Yes, 1,400. No. Again, not interested.
Not interested.
No.
Renegades at 9-1. I would say what's interesting is that they have a game up on the playoff spot. They could even get the 1 seed here with the Roughnecks kind of falling off. I mean, here's the thing. The South is still so wide open. At 9-1, a team that has a pretty good chance to make the playoffs, I think there is inherently some value there.
Well, you're right, and they added Vic Bolden, who is the USFL MVP.
You know what? I'm gonna put down a small sprinkle on the Renegades because of the price, because they're in the South, because of their path.
And they got Luis Perez. I'm assuming we're gonna see him this week. But let's talk about that for a second, guys.
Little Generals reunion there, huh?
Yeah. No. Well, Vic Bolden was on Birmingham.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. Come on, Ryan.
There's so many players.
There was a lot of news this week. Obviously, Philip Lindsay going to the Sea Dragons. Also, Paxton Lynch is now on San Antonio.
No, why?
Because this league, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Who did he blow? Did he blow the rock? How's he getting all these opportunities?
The Renegades signed Kelly Bryant.
Oh,
the
interesting.
Vipers signed a new quarterback, D'Angelo Fulford. Nick Holly got traded to San Antonio as well, and the Defenders signed DJ Swearinger.
Oh wow!
What's some NFL talent?
How old is DJ Swearinger?
That is a great question. Let me see what I can
He's
find
gotta
out
be.
here.
I mean, I feel like he's been. Okay,
31.
he's only 31.
He
wow.
was chopping it up with his buddies around the gas station, and you should give it. Go give it a shot. Go give it a shot.
Go hit up J-Mark and get on the XFL free agent list. I love how J-Mark is like the gatekeeper to spring football free agents. Guys hit me up and I tell them, I'm like, go to J-Mark.
You should talk.
He's
to
the kingmaker.
XFL insider Justin Mark. All right.
It's like Adam Schefter if he had, roster impact.
We then have Seattle and St. Louis with virtually the same price at plus 525. Yes, minus 725. No. I mean, again, I'm Seattle, ride or die.
especially after the Philip Lindsay.
Lindsay signing. Yeah.
Sean, you're welcome to the team.
I'm back.
Are you
I'm
in?
on it I'm out on the Roughnecks, in on the Sea Dragons. Let's breathe some fire
Really?
in the
Okay.
XFL North.
And then we have those Roughnecks who again, seems likely they'll walk
Plus
into the playoffs.
240 is
Plus
just
240.
a shitty price.
Yes, minus 300. No. Interesting on the no. I'm kind of intrigued by the no because they're gonna get the Sea Dragons in that first round.
Well, yeah, and you think they're gonna be a dog in the championship game most likely, and they're not even guaranteed a playoff spot. So I don't like. I certainly don't like the yes now at 240, especially what we've seen this collapse. Rare for a Wade Phillips team to collapse. This is what's so annoying about these spring leagues. I already have prior history on hating Wade Phillips. I completely forget about him because he's gone for so long. And then he comes in a new league and you fall in love. You're like, Wade Phillips, this guy's great. Sucks me in, and now they're completely collapsing.
And then DC plus 180 yes, minus 220 no. I mean, again, maybe you're getting a discount here because I don't know. I still think DC.
You'd be crazy to take any team plus 180.
DC is still the class, and you should. Colby, anything to add to the favorites?
No, I think DC and Seattle are the best two plays. Maybe you could talk me into a St. Louis play, but
All in the same division, Colby. You just listed 3 teams in the same division.
Well, they're the 3 best teams in the league, I think, hands down. Sorry, I get sidetracked with that music in the background. How many moon rocks have you done so far, Sean?
Oh man, straight to the moon.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but I may have been so medicated when we checked in that I didn't realize my window overlooked Stadium Swim.
The group chat was pretty. The group chat was pretty funny because again, shout out to Circa hooking us up. Awesome rooms. We're overlooking Stadium Swim. Josh, me, Kramer, and we have a group text going on, and we're sending the photos like, wow, look at this great view. And Josh is like, oh man, I'm right there. You can see the action. And oh wow, we got a bar in our room. This is so cool. And then Kramer goes, oh man, I don't have Stadium Swim view from my room. And we're like, really? And Josh goes, man, they must have given me the wrong room. And then 10 minutes later, Kramer goes, man, I must be super medicated because I can see Stadium Swim. I just wasn't looking down. I don't know how you can miss literally the biggest screen I've ever seen in my life that's pumping out club music. How did Ryan look out the window and not see it?
The mountains were beautiful with the snow caps. I got to be honest. And just to wrap it up, there is a stipulation here on the futures. Must award a champion for action. So hopefully we can get to the end of the road.
Beer Snake consumes everyone, which goes on a feeding frenzy, strangling guys.
I wanted to ask Colby. Did we
Do you have an update on the Beer Snake guy?
No, he tried to get me to push my schedule an hour, and so we had the DC Defenders podcast host on.
Nice.
Shout out to Steven. But no, we did not have the creator of the Beer Snake.
All right. Well, that's a bummer. I mean, you know, a reptile handler. He's got a busy life. I do want you to ask him whether or not the Beer Snake is venomous, just to get his reaction on air. Hey, we're gonna get to our picks before we do that. Shout out to Shady Rays. Oh, love my Shady Rays. Look at how awesome and cool Brian and I look here.
So cool.
Sitting poolside at Stadium Swim, rocking our awesome Shady Rays. Again, look at this polarization. These things are awesome. Go to youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast if you happen to see Shady Rays in action. Love my Shady Rays. And again, if I get too drunk, pass out, Kramer's too high, he leaves his sunglasses here, he forgets them, steps on them, whatever it is, Shady Rays has you covered with their awesome no questions asked replacement policy. Love my Shady Rays. All you gotta do is go to shadyrays.com, use promo code SGPN for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized shades. Try for yourself. The sunglasses rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. Kramer, what do we got?
Well, we got XFL, and I gotta be honest, I'm starting to see a rift in the community of the XFL. Well, I think there's clearly a faction that thinks it's fixed with the player movement, and I think there's
the player movement is a little shady.
Here's what I would say: if you want it to not be fixed because you own all the teams, Undo your playoff rule right now and just say division winners in plus the 2 best next teams, so we can
that screws our future strategy, Ryan. We can't have that.
I'm not as in on the future strategy as you. I have Seattle. I don't mind. Anyway, we have.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about the civil war that is going to break out between the USFL community and the XFL community. Benedict Dant over here, who has been a huge extreme football advocate, obviously loves XFL 1 the best, XFL 2 pretty good, but XFL 3 he likes it, but not quite as good. And we're about to see Benedict Dundee go back and forth behind enemy lines, trading as both the USFL gambling host and the XFL gambling host, and it's going to be.
I just came up for a name with a name for it. The overlapping.
It's the
overlapping of the spring football leagues. Who? So which team are you really on? Who do you want to see victorious here? Colby.
What do you mean in the XFL?
Well, no. In the USFL versus XFL battle, it's like DC versus Marvel. Which side are you on?
Look, the USFL didn't help out their bad teams. I can respect that. They also have a proper kickoff. Team USFL all day.
Wow. Okay. So host of the XFL gambling podcast, Colby Dant, states
he is also the host of the USFL gambling podcast. Again, it is.
He's a real
textbook Dundee.
Real sandbagging son of a bitch.
Dantle.
All right.
Let's go.
10 a.m. I assume this is what, Colby, Saturday? Oh,
yes.
Look at
2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
We're back to Saturday and Sunday. Okay.
They had to compete with the Masters.
Yeah, the Masters weekend was too juicy. What happened to Monday night? That would have been perfect.
Yeah, Friday night. They love competing against major sporting events.
XFL, the only people on the planet rooting for weather at the Masters. Vegas catching 7 here in St. Louis. The Battlehawks. It really goes nice to the base ambiance here. -7, -315 on the money line, +270 for the Vipers. 46 is the total. If my older daughter sees this, she's gonna think that I'm cool to go to these club situations. I don't know. The bumping right now. Old man Ryan is kicking in. About to need to get some earplugs in here, Colby. Anyway, St. Louis -7. Obviously a big number. The big numbers have not exactly been coming home. But man, huge advantage from a home field standpoint and just talent at this point.
Yeah, I mean the St. Louis Stadium is going to be rocking. Vegas has been eliminated from playoff contention. I imagine imagine you get eliminated from the playoffs, then you got to go to St. Louis in this hostile environment, square off against a Battlehawks team they're hungry for the playoffs, and they've been playing well. But again, we're talking about the XFL North, the pride of the XFL. It's just tough to make a case for the Vegas Vipers, even catching 7 points. Battlehawks destroyed them the last time they played. Vegas is allowing a decent amount of yards on the ground. I think Battlehawks can just run it down their throat. AJ McCarron has definitely been a surprise, decent quarterback in this league.
It's genius too, because it's going to create buzz, and he'll be back in the NFL now.
Well, he's doing it to impress his kids, and his kids have to be impressed, but they got to make the playoffs. And if there is any, again, we're already suspecting shenanigans possibly in the XFL. If there's going to be a whistle for a certain team, it's got to go for the team that has a chance to make the playoffs, clearly has the biggest or one of the biggest home crowds, and the city that is buying in. I think there's a lot of reasons you got to go all in on the Battlehawks.
Colby.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Colby was getting into the music. I saw him in there.
You got to ride with the Battlehawks here. That ridiculous, filthy dome that they have will be packed for. They'll call it a sellout, even though the whole top deck will be empty. But,
wow.
Still trying to understand that one. But the Battlehawks are going to win the game. They're the better team. They're one of the only teams that can run the ball in this league. So I'm all over the Battlehawks here.
Colby's really torn because it's a city that had their NFL team stripped away from them. They're supporting spring football, but they're in a dome. Again, it's really a Sophie's choice. Does he support the dome football team, or does he support the team that's surviving in spite of losing the NFL?
Sorry, I was getting there's some amazing company like some of the uniforms that guys wear. These just amazing tracksuits. I'll have to talk to Derek. We'll need to get one of these. And by the way, we were talking about beautiful stadium swim. Someone asked me if this was a recruiting trip. Now that we're not necessarily with WinBet. And we're open for a free agent for the first time in a couple years. Is if this is us going on campus to go taste the
NIL deal,
the local cuisine, seeing what they have to offer.
Love it.
All right, anyway,
Kramer, what are you doing?
We're all in St. Louis. You know I'm a chalky guy. It hasn't been good lately. My strategy of just taking the better team. Don't worry about the point spread.
And let's just check in on the records. Kramer 15-9.
No.
I'm 14-10, nipping at his heels. Still 67% on my locks. 0-2 the last 2 weeks, but 4-0 previously. Colby 12-8, 60% ATS, 60% on his locks.
Oh, here we go.
15-9. I went 3-1 that week. You guys didn't have me there.
Oh,
okay.
Wow. See, he's getting.
Colby, we're only allowing official podcast records. You were suspended for one show. So maybe we can talk to the commissioner.
By the way, I've been ice cold, and I'm still kicking all your asses.
I know. What the hell? I have not had a losing week in the XFL yet. I've had 5 2-2 weeks and 1 4-0 week.
Incredible. All right. 1 p.m. here. Again, we'll be probably watching the Masters, not this, but we're going to bet on this anyway. Arlington, maybe God's eye, 7 screens on the Masters, one screen on the XFL. Arlington, the Renegades taking on Orlando, the Guardians. Orlando laying 1.5, -120. Plus 100 coming back the other way with the Renegades. 42.5 is the total. Oh man,
this is a tough game to pick. I have a feeling Colby's going to be all over the Guardians because they've looked good. He likes his Quentin Storm and Normandy Beach angle here, but this is just. I'm worried this is an awesome letdown opportunity for the Guardians. They took down DC. They took down the Defenders. They got their first win.
Was there Gatorade poured?
This feels like a massive letdown spot. On the other side, though, how excited are you for the Renegades? I don't know. Colby, I assume you're on the Guardians here laying the short number.
Oh yeah, lock it up. I mean, this Quentin Storm and Normandy Beach is moving the ball. He's the best quarterback in this league right now.
He is looking good.
Yeah. And look, it doesn't matter. Like I said, they send out 9. Not a problem for Quentin Storm and Normandy Beach. He's gonna move that ball. The Shane Matthews offense is working. And by the way, you said we will be watching the Masters. You guys will be watching the Masters. I'll be watching football, baby.
Colby's not a golf guy. I forgot. Something Colby is a Mike Leach guy. I don't know if you saw this, Colby, but Peter Schrager. Pushing hard on NFL. Good Morning NFL that any shootout, aerial shootout, should be called a Mike Leach game. So not a golf guy, but you are a Mike Leach guy. You can get behind that. Obviously, I'm with Colby on the Guardians.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Guardians. I guess I just am worried about taking a team who's only won one game as a favorite and coming off their first win. Like that to me sets up as a letdown opportunity. That being said, I don't like what I've seen out of this Renegades team, so I think you have to go to the Guardians, especially at home, fighting for their playoffs lives here, laying 1.5. Hey, before we get to the second half of the games, shout out to Sword Vitality. We're out here in Vegas. Perfect time to unsheath your sword. If you're doing battle, you're not going to get anything done with a soft sword. No reason to be ashamed. Again, you already manscaped. Why not take care of the plumbing as well? Sword Vitality helps you succeed at life. And you know what we're talking about. Sword Vitality, you don't have to be ashamed of it. Again, 40% of guys below the age of 40, 70% of the guys affected by age 70. So many reasons to get hooked up with Sword Vitality, increasing blood flow that helps you thrive as a man in the bedroom, can even increase your stamina. You don't have to hide it. You can be proud of it. You can scream it at the Circa Stadium Swim. I'm a Sword Vitality guy. Unsheath your sword. SwordVitality.com, promo code SGPN. Get that nice discount at checkout, SwordVitality.com, promo code SGPN.
I don't know if the camera picked it up, but there was a guy, older gentleman with a ponytail that seemed very interested.
He kind of like stopped and was over here like, oh, what's this sword vitality?
I have some hookers showing up later. This would go nice with that. All right. Sunday, again, this is generally when the Masters finishes, so I don't know why you're competing with that. Houston, the Roughnecks taking on San Antonio, the Brahmas. Big little Texas on Texas battle here. 5.5 point favorites for the Roughnecks. -195 on the money line. +175 for the Brahmas. 40.5 is the total. I mean, San Antonio still unconfirmed home field advantage. They do play in a filthy dome.
It is weird. Like they lose against the North teams, but they dominate in the South. They've lost 3 in a row here. Do you feel comfortable taking them as a 5.5 point road favorite? Questions at the quarterback position. Do we expect Paxton Lynch or Jawan Pass?
Colby?
I would imagine Paxton Lynch, but because Kurt Benkert broke 3 of his ribs because that offensive line was awful last week. And guess what Houston can do? They can rush the passer, that is, and I think this is a home run get for the Roughnecks, even though Brandon Silvers is injured.
Yeah, I'm with Colby. I'm going to take the Roughnecks. Again, they dominate the South. They lose to the North.
You guys are copying my chalk trend.
I know we're on all favorites here.
You know what? Let's go make sure we get a parlay, a chalk parlay for the weekend.
Well, we'll see, because I don't know.
Oh, what do you mean?
Let's get to the
4
p.m.
As the Masters is wrapping up, assuming weather doesn't happen, we'll make sure to have an eye on the DC Defenders taking on the Seattle Sea Dragons, because this is straight up. This could be a championship game preview. -1.5 for the Sea Dragons here, all the way on the left coast. -120 on the money line, +100 for the Defenders. 46 is the total. I'm going to continue my stretch of taking the Sea Dragons. Small number here, basically a pick 'em. DC coming off a loss, obviously, maybe a bounce back spot. Sean likes those types of angles.
I do.
But give me the Sea Dragons. I'm a Sea Dragon fan through and through. Jude Jones, ride or die. And I think again, Philip Lindsay. Again, this is a guy who busted his butt in the NFL. I want to see the story on why he got blackballed. All right, everyone talks about Colin Kaepernick. I want to know why Philip Lindsay got
politics.
blackballed.
Yeah,
because
he's a big advocate for not getting rid of plastic bags.
Undrafted.
So the NFL blackballed him.
Undrafted.
Too hot politically.
Undrafted to the Pro Bowl and now playing for your Seattle Sea Dragons. Love it. -1.5. Colby, ride with me.
I can't, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
Snake.
In these games, in these leagues, I trust running the football. Also, Jordan Tamo's been a lot better passing lately. I think they can control the clock. They're also calling for heavy rain.
Yeah, all right. It's a Sea Dragon, Colby. You don't think it can handle a little water? The Defenders are wearing heavy iron armor. They're gonna have a hard time moving. Maybe get rusty.
I think this is a bounce back spot for the DC Defenders. Maybe got a little ahead of themselves, looking past Orlando, and Seattle has a good offense, but they turn it over. Ben DiNucci is the human turnover machine. I mean, you remember in this last time they Defenders beat the Sea Dragons.
You're continued Italian slander. You're Italian
at the 1 yard line. I like Seattle overall. Maybe Seattle gets the win, but DC gets the cover. I'm taking DC here, catching the 1.5.
I'll see if you're so slanderous towards Italian Americans later on tonight when we're hanging out with a couple. I assume Derek rolls with Italian Americans. That's it. That's all we got. I'm on Seattle, obviously.
All right.
You guys fucked up the chalk trend. You took a dog.
Time for the lock and dog, brought to you by Sword Vitality. Unsheath your sword. SwordVitality.com. Promo code SGPN. Kramer, what do you got?
Well, first of all, someone asked why we don't do a teaser on the XFL.
Because there's 4 games.
I said fuck off.
It's insane.
Lock Seattle. It's been pretty good for me most of the year.
No, it hasn't.
What do you mean? It's been hit or miss.
Okay.
I've enjoyed the consistency though. For my dog, I don't have a dog, but I will be happy to do a Houston St. Louis money liner. That's basically I think it paid plus 115. I'll update on Twitter when I go to the window and get it put down. But I'd also advise. Actually, you know what? That's good. No more advising.
Lock for me. Lock it up. St. Louis Battlehawks -7. Caw. Someone said Kramer's caw sounded like a person stepped on a crow.
Appreciate you, bro.
For my dog, give me the DC Defenders on the money line.
I think the guy's back to see about that sword vitality. Hopefully he walks across the back of it.
The snake gets it done in Seattle. Colby?
Oh, you got to lock up the Houston Roughnecks. The San Antonio Brahmas offense has been a disaster. AJ Smith running the June Jones offense, perfect for a game in that filthy Alamo Dome. So you gotta take the Roughnecks -5.5, whatever it is, and then money line. You know it's the DC Defenders. We can go to Seattle and have a lemon party. Let's go.
A lemon party, Colby, be careful.
God, we shouldn't have left Colby alone with the internet. Kramer, did you put in those? Did you put in those filters? I don't want Colby accessing stuff he shouldn't be accessing.
I gotta add the kids filters I use at home for the office. Make sure we don't have any accidents.
You have to, if you have to filter lemon party from your kids, you got other.
What if the landlord? I mean, God damn you! The internet's way worse than lemon party. It's no longer still shots. It's all moving.
All right, hey, thank you guys as always for tuning in. We're gonna be back. Stadium Swim, gonna be doing our way too early NFL win totals. Maybe get some special guests. Tune in. Maybe we'll lock it in 4 o'clock Pacific. Kramer.
Yeah, we'll schedule it. We'll try our best. What time is it right now? Oh yeah, perfect. Because the sun, it's starting to get cold out here.
Yeah,
it's not
4 o'clock feels like a good time. West Coast taking our first early pass on the NFL win totals. Make sure you smash that subscribe button over on youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast, and still chance to get in on the tailor-made driver giveaway. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/driver. Make sure you check out Colby on the XFL Gambling Podcast, not the USFL Gambling Podcast.
No, definitely
do not listen to that.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green, and he is Ryan.
Excellent show, Sean.
Kramer, let it ride.